Right Honourable Speaker. Okay, maybe let him conclude, because now I want to bring also mine. Thank you.
You first bring yours, PP. PP, let PP now finish.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank the committee for the good work done. I know it's just a very tedious exercise to compile all the nature and the status of roads in all this country. You recall that one time we had a motion actually discussed in the Parliament of Uganda, where we had tasked the Minister of Works and Transport to compile all the contracts of roads, all the statuses of roads, but the minister failed to present that report in Parliament up to now. Now, I want to thank the committee for the good work done. However, Madam Speaker, the road from Kitgum through Chua West, Kitgum-Matidi, going to Kidepo, passing through Chua East, has been in the National Development Plan for a long time. These people who are constructing the road went there for an assessment, but as we speak now, completely, not even a iota of a single work is being done. The compensation which was promised to the people there was not done completely. So can really we consider this road from Kitgum district passing through Kitgum-Matidi, going to Kidepo, which is also a tourist road. Lastly, Madam Speaker, there are some strategic bridges. They may not be the main bridges, but strategic bridges, which the district can't really work on. And we have just bridges, actually 2 of them in Kitgum district. There's one connecting one sub-county to the center of Noding. Because you see, there is a river bearing the Noding children, the Noding syndrome children. To pass through to go and access health facilities in a different sub-county. So that bridge has been promised, that bridge has been budgeted for. That bridge is in the DP3. but no work has yet begun. Similarly, the one connecting Kitgumatidi to a particular parish, which is also a nodding disease-infected area. Those bridges are supposed to be considered. Madam Speaker. Lastly, recently we have had an engagement with the district through the district local government public accounts committee. We have had recommendations, Madam Speaker.
PP.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
The road you've just said we passed a loan on Kidepo Road.
Yes.
Isn't that the road?
That's a road, yeah.
And the issue that we have, government of Uganda is supposed to give 5% of the contribution towards that construction.
Absolutely.
On top of the loan. So what awaits is the 5%. Of that contribution that should be answered by the Minister of Finance. And according to the report said it is because of the deduction that was being done. The money that was reduced from the budget. So Minister of Finance, you'll have to give us a feedback on the 5% on the Kidepo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was making my last submission, then I returned the microphone to you. The issue of recommendation from the districts who have been engaging the UPDF engineering department. I thought of bringing this issue here, Madam Speaker. The district that have been using UPDF engineering department have registered almost 99% of the success rate in as far as contract is concerned. 99%. Via efficacy, effectiveness, timeliness, and the quality of work. We have had, for example, a district like Kwania district. Kwania district is using solely the UPDF engineering department to do their construction. And we have had this a recommendation from almost 60% of the cows which we have to build bridges, to build roads, to construct schools, to do major construction.
Thank you.
Can we also find it relevant in this particular case? To recommend that most of the important contracts we have in this government should be given to the UPDF engineering department. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, thank you. Minister, you've heard. The Honorable Feta, you could finish.
Right Honorable, thank you very much. I want to thank my colleague for confirming the state of that road. The last issue, Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to raise was the issue of the 1 billion shillings given to the districts. That money is capable of doing a lot of work. The only challenge some districts and cities have is the lack of equipment. Because without your
Woman.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me add my voice on the report that was presented here.
I'll come to Lango. I'm now going to Acholi.
Right Honorable Speaker, we have a road that connects Obongi and the Moyo district. That's Obongi-Moyo Road, which is being maintained by UNURA. If right now a miracle happens here that the parliament is taken to Obongi, all these vehicles are going to get stuck on that road, because that is the road that connects Obongi to Moyo district. Right now, as I speak, the road is being flooded for the last 2 weeks, and UNRA is not paying attention on that road. Secondly, Obongi, Yumbe, Terego, Arua Road, which is also a national road. The part of the road this side of Obongi is also flooded. That is equally UNRA Road. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I am urging the ministry and the UNRA team to rush to Obongi and take care of the roads that are under their docket. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank Minister of Works for giving us road equipments. Obongi is a new district, we have road equipments, and some of the components of road equipments are missing. Right Honorable Speaker, I am urging that the ministry should do something so that those components of the equipments that are missing should be submitted to that district for easy road maintenance and improvement of the road connectivity in that district. Right Honorable Speaker, year in, year out, after every 5 years, there's a critical road that His Excellency, the President of Uganda, whenever he's campaigning in Obongi, he speaks about that road. That is Pakwach, Reno Camp, Obongi, Wadlai, up to Moyo district, proceeding to South Sudan. He calls it a security road, and that road always features nowhere. Right Honorable Speaker, I urge those who are drafting the manifesto of NRM, this year they should help us as leaders of Obongi, Pakwach, Madiokolo, and Moyo not to indicate that road on the manifesto because there's overfeatured on the manifesto and the government is not doing something on it. Thank you so much.
Honorable Maneno, you don't legislate with the feelings. Don't put too much feelings because you are not the only user of that road. There are so many users of that road. And of course, government has priorities. Yes, Mama Mavenjina, then Afedra.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I would like to concur with all my brothers and sisters who have brought our plight of the roads and the bridges of northern Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, there is another problem that was caused by the Karuma Bridge that has now affected us. Because now many of the vehicles are diverted to go through Masindi. And so most of the buses leave Kampala a bit late, and they spend the night around that bridge, the area where you enter through the national park.
And they are charged.
Yes, there is some Ua checkpoint there. So they have to spend the night there. There are no facilities. There are no hotels. You find mothers and children really suffering, including all our people. Then after spending the whole night there, the following morning when they are cleared to go, you find that the vehicles have to go at a very, very slow speed, between 20 and 30, Right Honorable Speaker. By the time you get to Pakwach there, you will be very, very exhausted after spending the whole night there. And so I think there is another disaster looming there. Our people will soon begin getting cholera and all sorts of different diseases. Food which is sold there, the hygiene, you cannot rely on it. And so, Right Honorable Speaker, my appeal to the government through the Ministry of Wildlife Authority is to increase the speed at least from 20 to about 60 instead of going at 20 or 30.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
We've had enough from West Nile. We can now go to Acholi. Afidra, just 1 minute, then we have Lucy, we have Onekalit, Junior.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to compliment and have the views of Madiokolo on the issues of the infrastructure for West Nile. First, I want to thank the committee. Right Honorable, you gave us a week to do this work. And it has been very recommendable that the committee within this short time...
You're a member of the committee?
I am not.
Okay.
I'm a member of Trade and Industries.
Okay.
They did a good work. From Karamoja to West Nile, they could not be able to do and go to all the parts of this country. Now that we have come here, allow me make a few compliments in regard to the gaps from West Nile. West Nile strategical, Madam Speaker.
Please don't repeat what has been said.
Exactly. West Nile has been cut off because of the bridge, because of River Nile. We are either linked through the bridges or through the ferries. Allow me address my mind to the ferries, especially at Amur crossing to Rhino Camp. Madam Speaker, where are you seated? To go to West Nile via Amur, Rhino Camp, and Arua City will take you almost 1 hour and a half. But because of the delayed construction of UNRWA ferry crossing, which has taken 13 years, the ferry has never crossed the river from Rhino Camp to Amur. My appeal through you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Everybody is talking about UNRWA. What will be the name used after 2 weeks?
I want to predict that we shall be using Ministry of Works. That
Okay.
through Ministry of
now
Works...
let's start using Ministry of Works so that we get used to, because they are the supervising body.
Yes, Madam Speaker, allow me now address my mind to Ministry of Works. Much as UNRWA took 13 years to work on this ferry crossing, the Amur site the dock has never been worked on. I want to appeal to Ministry of Works that from next week, at least before this financial year ends, the people from Acholi, Amur, could gladly use the ferry crossing to West Nile via Rhino Camp Ferry. This is my appeal.
Thank you.
Second appeal, Madam Speaker, is in regard to the tourism roads we've talked about. When you go to Bulisa is networked with tourism and oil road. And equally, Machizon Falls extends to Amur and Rhino Camp and West Nile. Ajai Game Reserve is part of Amur. The presidential pledges in the region, I do not know how we can address it here. The president has always gone
We
to
have
pledge.
a report on presidential pledges and a government assurance that is going to be presented by the leader of opposition.
Madam Speaker, the challenge is how can the presidential pledges translate into action beyond NDP3 that we're implementing on ground? Some of these pledges were done in the past term, 10th Parliament. I want to bring this attention of Pakwach, Ochoko, Arua Road. This is the shortest distance. It can benefit from the oil and the tourism road that government has been talking about, so that when tourists go to Ajai Game Reserve, they extend to go to Adjumani, they can equally be connected and enjoy these privileges.
Let's go to this side first.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I want to start from where Honorable Ifidra ended. Madam Speaker, on the road... Afidra. Madam Speaker, the road away to Rhino Camp is a very strategic road, and I want to thank the committee so much for highlighting it in their report. However, I did not hear a feedback in regards to the pending design, which I am aware is already approved, and the funding is supposed to come from Africa Development Bank. So I don't know whether this has already gone off or we are still on track. Because the last I checked, they were supposed to have got the consultant and the design was supposed to be started. Indeed, this would have provided us an opportunity to have the shortest route to Arua. Secondly, this is a very strategic road in terms of agricultural inputs that come from that side. If you see the magnitude of goods that come from there, it's really a lot. Second, Madam Speaker, I want to highlight a very strategic road, the Great North, part of the Great North Road, which starts right here from Lacho up to Elegu. Madam Speaker, much as this road is tarmacked,
it is now a death trap for so many people. The road is quickly getting destroyed, and it is causing accidents on a daily basis. I have not had this in the report of the committee, and I don't know what plan is in place by the Ministry of Works in regards to this road, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
I want to get this. Finally, Madam Speaker, I want to re-echo on the aerodromes that has been highlighted, both in Arua and Gulu. These are all very strategic areas. When I was the vice chair of COSASE committee, we visited Arua. And I must say, we were very, very impressed by the traffic that comes. Actually, it is indeed a very busy aerodrome and needs a lot of support. So I still put emphasis that money should be put in these two areas to really help the people of Northern Uganda. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And you have set history in Northern Uganda.
Thank you, Nekalit Junior.
Thank you very much, the Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to begin by thanking the Committee of Physical Infrastructure for the good report that they've given us. I have admired the forms and contents. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to touch on the aerodromes, the airfields. 6 months ago, we held a meeting with the Civil Aviation Commissioner General on Kitgum Municipality aerodromes airfields. And Kitgum Municipality airfields was scheduled to be among the top 7, including the Kidepo airfields. But we had agreed that the Commissioner General of the Civil Aviation Authority would send in staffs to Kitgum to survey the status of Kitgum airfield so that it is revived to the standard needed. Honourable Speaker, I want to really ask the Minister for Works and Transport, how far have they gone with the issues of the Kitgum airfield? Because it's already in the pipeline. It was supposed to be surveyed and the report given so that work begin. Secondly, the issues of Karumba. I also admired the report given on the issues of Karumba Bridge. Right Honourable Speaker, the business community in Northern region are incurring a lot of losses due to the long routes and the long time that they spend crossing from the park, the buses. The committee laid a very vivid idea of creating a waiver, but the committee did not go ahead to specify what kind of waiver. I want that to be clarified. If the waiver would be in terms of giving some fuel or some compensation to bus companies so that they cut the cost of the bus fares. At the moment, the cost is double than what it was before. So that way, our business community that crossed that bridge will be supported very well. Right Honourable Speaker, the Karumba Bridge was constructed in 1963, 1 year after independence. And it is saddening for us, the people of the North, to find ourselves having the only single bridge closed. All these years, the government would have taken a step to construct an alternative bridge. We cannot wait to do a postmortem. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Works and Transport need to be clear.
Honourable Nekalit, the committee handled the issue of Karuma very well and will wait for a response from the minister. So, and everybody has almost talked about that.
Right.
And then the issue of the Kidepo aerodrome, the land was encroached on. There is only just a small runway next to the presidential lodge. So
Right Honourable Speaker,
that must be sorted out first on the issue of the land which was encroached. And Like the issue that the Honorable Lucy talked about, the committee did not talk about the road safety issues, which must be handled by Minister of Works. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, indeed we are aware about encroachment. That is why we wanted the Civil Aviation Authority to come and analyze on the ground, exactly, the status quo. However, as Kitgum, we have another alternative land that we can actually give to help put in the airfield. It was discussed in council.
Honorable
Thirdly,
Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Acholibu Musingu Road construction. Kitgum municipality, particularly Pagay Division, lost properties during that construction. And the assessment was done. It is awaiting compensation of about 61 million. We wrote letters.
Million,
I went
billion.
physically.
Is it million or billion? 61 million or billion?
61 million.
Million. Honorable Minister, you need to check that, because if it's 61 million.
I will verify the figure and also bring.
Okay.
But the issue is, Right Honorable Speaker, that compensation up to now has not been met. I physically went to the PS of Ministry of Finance, Mr. Ngobi, and up to now we are waiting. I want to request Minister of Finance to give us a status quo for that compensation.
Thank
Lastly,
Lastly,
Right Honorable Speaker.
Give Junior now.
Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, just a minute. The issues of the municipality, Right Honorable Speaker. We have the issues of road equipment. And I believe all the new municipalities have equal challenges. We borrow road equipment from our mother districts. Therefore, if really the Ministry of Finance...
We have made a budget for the equipment for the new municipalities, and that is going to be purchased. It was in the budget, which we passed. Junior Anthony.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. May the record show that I appreciate the input of the committee for the excellent work done. The committee, in their findings, did make very good recommendations, but they were alluded of key roads in Lao. Inter alia, the road that connects Doholo and Molatar. This road, Right Honorable Speaker, did appear in NDP3. This road was approved in a supplementary budget. I am not privy to the NRM manifesto, but I am alive to the information that it was in the NRM manifesto. It loses my understanding how this road has disappeared and never has it surfaced anywhere, yet it shares a nexus with Doholo Ochero, which is being worked on. Is it because the line minister has close proximity with Doholo Ochero? May I be informed? Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, the Masindi Port Bridge was approved in the budget. We did approve a loan. We coded the loan 1795. At the same time, Ochero Katine loan was approved and coded 1796. I am persuaded to think that Masindi Port, that was the initial inventor of that loan that Katine benefited from, has disappeared, but Katine is being worked on. What has Lao done not to get this road? Right Honorable Speaker, with the closure of Karumba, my constituency road of Dokolo and Molatar is overladen. It is unmotorable. If the line minister deems it fit to close Karuma, close Masindi Port, and overladen our road, so let it be tarmac. I so submit. Lao wants to hear this, I so submit.
Thank you. There is nothing Lango has done, and as I said before, we will debate with all the sanity, without lamentations, without blame game. Remember one thing, we have priorities, and we are here to resolve issues, and we must deliberate with honorably. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I must thank the committee for the good work they have done, but I think to some extent there are some information that is really missing in the report on the issue of Karumba Bridge. Number one, initially, the technical people thought the problem was only the bearings. But of the recent discussion that I had with the technical team on the ground, because we shared a place at night and I had the opportunity to interact with them, they have actually on practical realized that the problem is not only the bearings, but also those metallic things are all now getting rotten, so the work will not be as planned before, and it might take more time than what is indicated in the report.
In the list.
Secondly, it is putting a lot of risk to the life of those other vehicles that they thought have the capacity to go through the bridge. That is something that needs to be investigated more. But also, the traffic that has been diverted to the other roads, those roads did not have the capacity to handle the kind of traffic that is going through the park and the other areas. So there must be a mitigating factor to make sure that as we are trying to work on Karumba Bridge, then we should not have another destruction on the other roads that is going to be affected by the traffic which is diverted in those areas. That is my issue on Karumba Bridge. But also, Right Honorable Speaker, we have been thinking that when we added 1 billion Uganda shillings to the districts, it was going to help. But unfortunately, we need explanation from the Ministry of Finance. It has been communicated to us that when they were giving now the 1 billion to the districts, they reduced on the money on road funds that is going to the districts. And this needs more explanation for us to know what is practically on the ground. Otherwise, it is affecting the roads in the different areas in the district. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, we have sub-counties, new administrative units which were created later in the country. Unfortunately, they were not planned for by the Ministry of Finance. They are still sharing the same amount of money that comes to the sub-counties, the districts, and is really affecting the roads in all the different areas in Uganda.
Thank you.
In my constituency, there is a road in the town council named Kagota Road in Papo Town Council. Right Honorable Speaker, it should be removed, the name of the president on it. When you go to the town council, you wonder why it should be called with the name of the President of the Republic of Uganda. Something needs to be done on the issue of roads in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, in the VIP gallery we have the Crown Prince of Arenga Kingdom. That is Igamule Adina Doka. Is here to witness the proceedings. And then we also have Honorable Akol Caesar, the District Speaker of Moroto. We have Honorable Agilu Simon Peter, District Speaker of Napak. We have Honorable Odio, District Speaker of Kotido District. We have Honorable Lochero, the DEC member, Napak, and the cultural head of Bokora people. And then we have Tebanga Emmanuel, the CSO of Napak. And they are represented here by Honorable Nakut. And then we have Mr. Ogwal George Alex, LOC5 Chairman of Kwania, local government. They are all here to witness the proceedings of today. Honorable members, if you've not said, we have a number of reports. Those who could have not talked will speak on other reports. will speak on other reports. So can I have Honorable Lamwaka.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee on their report. However, Madam Speaker, as you have sent us to go to all these areas in northern Uganda, I want to re-echo again on the issue of Kitgum, Karenga, Kidepo, Kabong, Kotido Road, which is actually one of the precious road that give us a lot of money from the tourism section. Madam Speaker, I want to inform you that when we went on the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs, there were other members of parliament who could not cross from Moroto to Kotido because of Lupei Bridge, which was flooded. At the same time, we could not even cross to Abim, passing via Kotido to Alerect. And on the 2nd, Karenga is going to host
There's a procedure matter.
Karenga is going to host...
There's a procedure matter, Honorable Lamwaka.
Right Honorable Speaker, when my honorable colleague, Honorable Amwaka, was on the floor speaking, I was very keenly watching, and I saw the label on the screen stating Honorable Amwaka Catherine.
No, it's Honorable Amwaka Margaret.
Right Honorable Speaker, would it not be right procedurally for you to give me the chance after her to speak then? Thank you.
Is that a procedural issue? Yes. Yes, Kathy.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As I said...
There's a procedural matter here. Catherine, you will speak after Margaret.
The procedural issue I'm raising on, Madam Speaker, is that the members, honorable members sitting on the eastern side of the gallery, of the chambers, have not spoken. We are asking whether it's procedural right that your eyes is not seeing us on the other side, Madam Speaker. I beg to submit.
Honorable Member, Honorable Nancy Achora, I don't remember losing my sight at any one time. My sight is very, very clear.
Right, Honorable.
And I'm in my rightful mind. Honorable Amwaka Margaret.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker. What I was raising is that Karenga district is going to host a gala of Ateker on the 2nd to the 9th. And when I passed there, I also got stuck and slept in Karenga. I want to inform the Minister for Works that the road is impassable and the President is going to open that gala officially. And I would implore him, plus his colleagues, let me say UNRWA, to go and work. But when we got stuck, we called UNRWA and they did some work in some few places. However, Madam Speaker, there are so many bridges, especially in our district, which the district could not work on them. Like a bridge in Point is in Omia Nyima, where one time I went with the Minister of Local Government, and he also witnessed it. This bridge connects Agago and Omia Nyima Health Center, and we have only one health center, 3 in Omia Nyima, which is to serve us. So, Madam Speaker, I would say, if my...
Now, when you see Linda coming, that shows that she wants now to present the report of agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Catherine.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank you so much.
Karamoja, I'm coming. Karamoja, nobody has spoken from Karamoja. Yes. Leave Catherine to finish, and then I come over.
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I have been following the report of the committee. I want to thank the chair for the very elaborate report. However, Madam Speaker, on their recommendation, one of their recommendations, talking about periodic assessment of bridges on some of the major roads in the country, Madam Speaker, I thought it would be very important for us to have a recommendation that covers all the bridges on the national roads in this country, Madam Speaker, to avoid us operating in a manner that we are in now, especially regarding Karuma Bridge, Madam Speaker. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I want to comment on the issues of roads under national roads. Ministry of Works should really improve on their coverage and as far as their assessment on status of roads is concerned, Madam Speaker. There are roads under national roads that have not been worked on for the last 5 years. Especially in Omoro district, I want to cite 2 cases. There is a road from Minakuru that connects Omoro to Nwaya district via Okwi. That road is in a very sorry state, Madam Speaker. 4 days ago, the community around there connecting to Nwaya have been even demonstrating. It is only your arrival in Omoro yesterday that calmed the situation down. We nearly lost 2 mothers who were on labor pain trying to access health facilities connecting to Kampala Road, Madam Speaker. I have written several times to the Minister. Honorable Musa Ichwero is aware of this, but nothing has been done on this road. Another road is Minja, connecting to Gulu district, to Omoro district, to Gulu and Kitgum, Madam Speaker. This is also another national road that has never been worked on. Even simple maintenance has never been done on the road, Madam Speaker. I want to implore the Ministry of Works, now that UNRWA is no longer going to be there, let the Ministry of Works take care of all the roads under national roads properly. And I want to sound also, add my voice, on the allocations for road under road funds, Madam Speaker. It's very absurd. When Parliament is considering adding funding to the districts to take care of roads, you again find that they are reducing some of these fundings that were earlier on there. I am not impressed with this move, Madam Speaker. The 1 billion allocation by Parliament is really supporting local governments a lot as far as maintenance is concerned. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Dorcas. PP.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and also from the perspective of equal opportunities to say that Lango sub-region, specifically on the issue of roads, we are doing very badly. Only about 3% of paved roads are in Lango sub-region. And for that matter, Right Honourable Speaker, the roads that Honourable Court Bitek had raised under NDP 3, we also have Dokolo to Aloy and Lira to Aloy, which have been existing under NDP 3 and no work has been done. And the entire Lango sub-region has very few paved roads. I would like, therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, to request that let government put special emphasis to ensure that Lango sub-region does not continue lagging behind. And again, Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of Rekunya Patch Ferry, I had opportunity to witness the traffic on that road, whereby vehicles are spending about 5 days without crossing the ferry from one side to the other. And some of those vehicles are ferrying animals. And it becomes very risky. The cost of doing business is extremely high. I would like to support the committee recommendation of putting a much bigger ferry on that route. I thank you.
Thank you. PP. Honorable members. Yes. Those who have not spoken will put down the names of their roads and will capture them. In the next report, those who will not have spoken will speak first. PP.
Thank you very much.
PP.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable.
Christine, Achia, Batom.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I am going to be very brief by asking questions. Number one, I would like to ask the Ministry of Works that you went to Padre and made a bridge called Wat Lodge, which is from Ata to Kigwe Corner. After 2 months, the bridge collapsed, stopping children from going to school at Wipolo. We informed you several times. You have not gone back to correct that bridge. When are you going to correct the bridge? The second question is, there is a program called Rural Development Food and Food Security in Northern Uganda, RootSec program. It has taken 2 years. I hear about this program. It is supposed to make a road from Awere, Pora, Awere, Bolagweng to come and put a bridge on a Rufol. It will help the people to access the main road. When are you going to take on this project? One of the road is supposed to leave Lapul through Owega to Okia. To date, we have not seen you doing this program. 2 years has ended. Can you explain to the people in Padre when you will do that now that you are seated in Gulu Parliament?
Thank you.
The last one, my right honorable speaker, is that you have said we should not speak about community access road. But it is very, very important because the community access road is the one that helps our people on economic activity to come to the main road.
The community access roads are not national roads. We have given you money for it. Go and ask your local government.
Okay, I wanted to propose, right honorable speaker, that the funds be increased because it is small money. 2 million, 3 million breeds corruption in the sub-counties. Thank you so much, right honorable speaker.
Dr. Chut, Christine, Aliek, Achia.
Thank you, right honorable speaker. I would like to propose 3 amendments to the report. The first is that in relation to Laon sub-region, having the lowest stock of tarmac roads in the country, just 3%. The reason that we were given previously as Laon Parliamentary Group is that we have very few national roads. Most of our roads are district roads. And we made a petition to Ministry of Works to upgrade several district roads to national roads. It's now 2 years that has not happened. I want to recommend that the committee report is amended so that that is provided for. Secondly, we also have the AFCON roads. One of the roads that we have been informed will be linking Gulu City to Lira City is the Kona-Yer-Kona-Bohe Icheme road. We've been informed previously that it will be tarmacked. It's also in the NDP3, but we'll want to get information on when is its tarmacking going to be done. Lastly, the report indicated that it costs 5 million to carry out maintenance under using the force account and 50 million using framework contracts. Our NDP3 clearly states that gravel road construction will cost 30 million shillings per kilometer. So I want to recommend that the committee also recommends that the cost of road construction per kilometer, especially the first-class Maram, be realigned with the NDP3 costs. Thank you.
Christine Aliek.
Thank you, the Right Honourable Speaker. I'm Christine Akello, a Member of Parliament from Erutenos constituency. Allow me to thank the committee for the report they have presented. Right Honourable Speaker, I just want to add on to the few bridges. We have the bridges that have taken 7 years. These are the national roads. That there's a bridge called Adian Luru. It connects to Kole up to Gulu. So it has to be worked on. And we have Aler, Akor, Aleptong. It goes up to Teso. Then we have Aler, Akangi, Aleptong. That connects up to Teso. We have Apuche, Ayile. That connects to Yam up to Gulu. And this one was being constructed by ACDP project, and it collapsed before they could even commission the project. So the Right Honourable Speaker, we have lost so many lives. Just last month, we lost 3 people died. They are trying to cross from Oyam coming to Lira district. So I'm requesting Ministry of Works to take it seriously
And I'm also in support of the UPDF to be given the mandate to construct the bridges. And then lastly, the Right Honorable Speaker, the road that comes from Pach Rokunya up to Kidgum, it has issues, especially in Aler, my constituency, where they're acquiring the rock. The people are complaining and they need to sign a new agreement concerning the compensation and the future of the people's land, because there's a conflict of interest of land between the district and the community. So I request the chairperson of the Roads Committee to investigate on that one. Thank you.
Aliak. Aliak.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'm speaking on behalf of Lango Parliamentary Group. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to, first of all, give credit where it is due. I want to thank government for Lira Kamdini Road, that it's now almost getting finished, and also the construction of Rekunye Apach, Lira, Puranga Road, which is ongoing. But Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of the ferry, Right Honorable Speaker, Masindi Port Ferry is the oldest in the country, and it is already outdated. So I would like the Ministry of Works to really consider this immediately, because it is breaking down almost every day, and it is affecting traffic. Right Honorable Speaker, on the RAP Road, the Rekunye Apach Lira Puranga Road, some of our people have never been compensated. So I would like to ask the Minister for Works and Transport that when will the compensation get completed? Because our people have sacrificed the land where the roads are passing. They have never been compensated. The road is passing via Kole district, where most of the people in the area of Akalo have not been compensated, and other areas up to Puranga. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to talk about Dokolo Amolata Road. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Minister of Finance, because His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, wrote a letter of pre-financing and using the Chinese company that was ready to put tarmac on Dokolo Amolata Road in 2021. I want to ask the Minister of Finance that the President had already given the directive to Minister of Finance to accept pre-financing so that this road can be constructed, and then payment should be done after 3 years. Right Honorable Speaker, Minister of Finance is here, should give us an answer. This road could have been gotten finished by now. Right Honorable Speaker, lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of Lira Alloy Abim Road is 179 kilometers. Right Honorable Speaker, this has been in NDP3. It has been in the NRM manifesto as well. So I would like the Minister of Finance to also give an answer together with Minister for Works. Right Honorable Speaker, lastly, road maintenance fund of 1 billion, Right Honorable Speaker. Not every district is the same. Kole district and other parts of the country are covered by water. So now the 1 billion, even if we use it for only the swamp crossings, putting the box culverts and whatever, Right Honorable Speaker, the 1 billion is not enough, even in your own constituency, Right Honorable. So I'm proposing that the government should consider through this parliament to add on the road maintenance fund to about 1.5 or 2 billion for that matter, so that we see how each district is going to use that money. Because at the moment, climate change has affected all the districts in this country, and we have a lot of water breaking down the roads and the bridges, Right Honorable.
Thank you.
We want it added. Thank you,
Right
Right
Honorable. Speaking on behalf of Lango, Bua, Chia, Bua, Chia, Napak.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Otuke is the only district in northern Uganda where 5 Nilo tribes departed when God created the universe. One was a Teso. Second, a Chole Jabor, third. And then comes the Karamoja. Now, Honorable Speaker would request also each time I think I should represent this side of Otoke, which would cover all these tribes. We have a bridge which comes from Kapuilepiong. That's a little Anogor sub-county. Secondly, we have a bridge which comes from Omoro to Rum, which is a Juri County. That's a Leptong district. The third bridge, we got Namagago, which comes from Agago district, Ogor. So, Honorable Speaker and the Minister, I think one of these bridges, they should be considered. Lastly, the 1 billion which was given to the district, I see that it has been misused in my district, Otoke, where the cow and the district chair, they connive. And out of the 24 roads which were meant to be graded, was only 9 roads which was graded. So, Honorable Speaker, I would like this to be put into the consideration. Thank you.
Local government, local government should look at that issue of the money which has been misappropriated. Honorable Achia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I came here this morning so happy to listen to the issues of northern Uganda. And you clearly guided that we should discuss these matters without emotion, with clarity, and with confidence. Madam Speaker, what happens when a region like Karamoja is not included in a report, like this report of works? No, the committee did not visit Karamoja. Where are we going to discuss our Manyanga? You told us the Manyanga of the others of the country we are going to discuss in Kampala. What about Karamoja Manyanga? Where is it going to be discussed? The committee did not go to Karamoja, and we are in northern Uganda. How can we have a committee which is supposed to go to West Nile, Acholi, Lango, and Karamoja, not go to Karamoja? And you are telling us that we are going to speak in the next report when we are not in this report. We have
Honorable Chair of Karamoja Parliamentary Group, is Moroto in Karamoja?
The Moroto road starts from here and goes to and stops in Agago. The road they are talking about, Moroto, is this one starting from Gulu City here.
I want to read for you, Honorable Achia. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. The road from Moroto through Omoro, Pade, Agago, and Abim. That is, Abim is in Karamoja. But where the committee did not capture issues of Karamoja, let's put them down after the session here. Let's sit as regions. Karamoja region, Acholi, Lango, West Nile, and agree with what was not covered. Let's agree on that. We don't have to lose our heads here.
Madam Chair, Madam Speaker,
that could have been an oversight. We are sorry about that. It could have been an oversight, but let's raise the issues that are concerning the area.
Madam Speaker, I respect you so much. But it is when you say I'm losing anger because it is
my uncle.
Yes, these reports are making us lose anger.
My uncle, calm down. Now, Honorable Achia.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
I will want you to go back and retreat and look at all those issues in terms of infrastructure concerning Karamoja and give it to my team before we sleep tonight.
Madam Speaker, I accept your guidance, but let also the chair and the members of the committee tell you that they
I have apologized on
Karamoja.
their behalf. Sorry about that.
Information.
Yes.
Information. I'm informing.
Yes. Yes, information.
Madam Speaker, my prayer was that since we are going to deliver to your team the report by evening, I would pray that this report not be adopted until tomorrow when our report has been included.
Further information. We can adopt the report with amendments. A report can be adopted with amendments, and including the amendments of Karamoja. Yes, Ricky.
Information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Madam Speaker, this regional meeting is very, very important, very key. And I want to thank God for the wisdom that He has given you to allow the regional parliament to come to northern Uganda, which is quite very important. Madam Speaker, I want to request you kindly allow the members of parliament from Karamoja and then Patu Dachule and other people to speak, because the issues we are addressing here is very key and
Do you
very
want
important.
us to look at only one report and tomorrow report only one report to the president?
Not really, because these issues are a priority. Madam Speaker, for example, I was expecting the committee...
You're raising, what are you raising now?
Now, Madam Speaker, I was expecting the committee to talk about the issue of security road. You know security is key.
Which one?
Anything which is not protected by the security, that's become a problem. The security roads in northern Uganda, from Odom to Kitgum, and then from the Karamoja part of the region, the UPDF are doing lots of good works in the area, but there are challenges that need to be mitigated. The Ministry of Works should be able to work on the issue of security road to allow the UPDF to do deployment, allow the UPDF to execute their duty effectively and efficiently for the protection of the local people in the community. And that means the government implementation of the projects in the area will not be jeopardized by the cattle raiders. So I was expecting the committee to work on that very seriously.
Honorable, again, what I am saying, the roads that have not been mentioned, you should give us the names of those roads that have not been mentioned so that we amend the report to that effect. Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, I take your guidance that the Karamoja Parliamentary Group sits after this evening and makes an addendum report to this report so that this report
an addendum to this report.
And it is adopted together with our report tomorrow. Let this report not be
adopted. We will adopt
now.
the report tomorrow after we have gotten an addendum from the Karamoja team.
Thank you.
Achora?
Thank you.
Hey, first give doctor. Leave doctor.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I've been sitting for a long time. Madam Speaker, if we remember history very well with this government, before, when this government came into power, the first thing they did was to secure the country. In other words, without security, there cannot be any business, there cannot be any touring, there cannot be any economic development. I come from Lamour County, which borders southern Sudan. Recently, I made a submission in Parliament with respect to insecurity due to border insecurity, whereby South Sudanese have been robbing and terrorizing the people of Lamour. It resulted into one big thing, which was the positioning of a whole brigade of 5,000 UPDF soldiers in Lamour, my constituency. Now the problem arises that in case of supplies and what have you, the road from Kitgum, Padibe to Mamoromo in Lokung needs to be tarmac to fasten communication quickly by the army personnel to supply the border posts, because now there are 5,000 UPDF men and women guarding the people of Lamour, for which we thank the Commander-in-Chief of this country. Secondly, there's another road from Awenoli to Lamour, which also needs to be addressed, preferably by tarmacking. I don't have a lot of words. We need to secure this country. We need the borders to be calm.
Thank you.
And now we are in the north. We want the northern parts of the country to be secured. And right now, southern Sudan is a hotspot for insecurity. I would like this parliament to address this.
Thank you. Achora, Ochan.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I want to add on what my colleague, the male MP for Lamu County has said. Kitgum to Ngomoromo via Padibe Road is about 67 kilometers, which is number 6 priority road under World Bank Refugee Funded project. And by the grace of God, the money for the construction is available. What is needed for the government of the Republic of Uganda, it is the money for designing. So it is my humble plea on behalf of the people of Lamu district, which is here, also not just to coordinate and connect the refugee district, but also to connect us with South Sudan, being a border district. This has been a long overdue road that His Excellency promised the people of Lamu in 2018 when he visited our side. Secondly, Lututuru Hill, Right Honorable Speaker, was one of the tourist sites in the history of this country. When His Excellency, by then, President Idi Amin Dada, was in power, he had his site at Lututuru Hill. So I want to also interest the Ministry of Trade, Tourism and Industry to take a keen interest and make that site valuable to give some credit to the economy of Uganda. And then last but not least, Right Honorable Speaker, we need a security road that borders the Kitgum people and Lamu district. Recently, we had a land dispute that my people lost life in a land conflict between the community of Muchini East and the community of Madiope sub-county in Lamu district. I want to request the Ministry of Internal Affairs to give us a security road to clearly demarcate the landmark. I beg to submit.
Ochan. Honorable Betty Ochan.
Don't mind. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am the host. The mother of Gulu.
wanted the host to speak last.
The mother of Gulu City. Yes, thank you. I am here to welcome and to thank everybody who has managed to come to Gulu City very much. Gulu City is so beautiful because the roads within the central part of the city are good. But if you go to the suburbs, the roads are bad. We need to help the city better, that is, for the roads. But for logistic hub was built, and it looks so beautiful. The members, the families, there are up to 82 families which accepted to leave the logistic hub to be built. And it was promised that they would be paid. 82 families. I have here the list in my hands. People of Acholi are so poor. Minister of Works, we are not happy. If you promise to pay something, why don't you pay them? 6 years down the road, these 82 people have not been paid. And we really appeal that the 82. By the way, Madam Speaker, even your stamp is on one of the documents here I am holding in my hand. Even that one of the is it the PS? Is also there, and many other stamps. Up to about 6, up to 5 stamps are here. Stamp on the documents. 6 years. These people were so good, so as to allow the logistic hub work to continue, but we are now very unfair to them. I think this is what was even burning me, because the 82 people, after giving me this document, and to completely, for us to finish the report of Works Committee, without their issue being attended to, it would be very bad. And I would also love to lay this document on the table. I want to thank you. Let me now not bore people with the already roads which have already been mentioned, but in the city
so
here.
we can have Jara.
Yes.
as the host.
Thank you, Jara, as the host. Please come in. I want to lay the document.
Honorable members, as we have agreed, we are going to have all those roads that have been mentioned presented to the minister. The minister is not going to respond to these issues now. He will only respond after he has got all what has been said, because he cannot respond on what is incomplete.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Just to elaborate.
Nakut, we agreed, Karamoja, you're going to sit.
Madam Speaker, it's not on the list of roads, but on what the content in the report that affects the entire region and the country. Can't we also submit? I know that the committee did not.
Yes, you're going to submit. Yes, please.
Thank you.
An addendum. That's what they call addendum.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
much. Can I
right?
submit now or after Mapenduzi?
No, you're going to make an addendum of the whole sub-region, and you submit, you give a copy to the minister this evening so that he has responses to it, then you present it in the House.
Madam Speaker, while I agree to that proposal you have given the Karamoja group, it is my appeal that when we consider the next report, we apportion maybe 3 members per sub-region, so that one sub-region doesn't occupy the entire
That's
time.
okay. That is accepted. 3 members per region, yes?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I joined my colleagues in thanking the committee for the report, but without unnecessary repetition, in 2017, the Honorable Minister of Works gave assurance to the people of Gulu that government had put in the budget and had planned to build a road from Kitgum to Lamour, Lamour to Palaro, Palaro to Gulu City, and Palaro to Atiak. This has been for over 5 consecutive financial years. It would be important, Right Honorable Speaker, that this matter needs to be clarified, and we would love to hear from the Honorable Minister why this promise has been made continuously. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Betty raised a concern on the plight of the people who got affected by the construction of the logistic hub. I have personally gone to the Minister of Works, asking them when these people would be paid. Honorable Speaker, the story we hear from Minister of Works is that there is no money. Would it not be okay to have this included now in the budget for next financial year so that these people are paid?
Include in your report so that we are able to adopt it together. The minister will respond and will budget for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Speaker.
You. Next item. Santa. Yes, Santa.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, we are winding up the debate on infrastructures in northern Uganda. But Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it would be procedurally right for me not to mention the issue of emergency in the Great North Road, part from Corner Molem to Bobby. Madam Speaker, as we sit here legislating, that road 1 week ago got completely damaged and blocked. And as I talk now, the district and people coming all the way from the eastern side of East Africa, going to the north to Juba or to Cairo for that matter, Madam Speaker, cannot access that road. The road has been blocked from a big swamp called Oriamapad, Madam Speaker. Another issue of emergency is that we have another landing site where the ferry can be used in Atora Motonda, Madam Speaker. I don't know whether the Minister of Health, Honorable Musa Ichwero, cannot get this alternative route and give us a ferry on that landing site. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Include it in what is not included in the report so that we make amendments. Lob.
Thank you so much.
Lob.
Most obliged.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you have guided well on the Karamoja caucus. I want to propose that as we retire, all the caucuses of the sub-region, they go back and sit and provide priority lists for the infrastructure in their sub-regions, so that also they become addendum to that report. Because every member of parliament, they are giving in their own input. But it will be good for every sub-region to come up with a priority list, for instance, on the national roads, on the bridges, what they think.
And what is within the NDP?
Exactly. Yes,
and in
right,
consideration with the Public Finance Management Act?
Yes, and Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform the members that NDP 3 ends June 2025, and we begin NDP 4. NDP 4 is supposed to be ready this next month of September. While we are making priority lists, we need to visit those two documents. There is already a draft for the NDP 3 to see whether NDP 4, to see whether what we are proposing has been captured. That's when our discussion will add value to the people of Northern Uganda. I submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, retreat and have those reports to the amendments of the committees. And you should look at even other reports. Don't look at agriculture alone. Don't look at infrastructure alone. Look at all the other reports so that, as you've heard, they said, we should be able to give 3 or 5 people per sub-region. Agriculture.
Item 7, motion for adoption of the report of the Sectoral Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the state of water for production facilities in Northern Uganda.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Committee of Agriculture, I hereby present a report of the Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on a field visit to selected district in Northern Uganda to assess the water for agricultural production facilities. Right Honorable Speaker, before I proceed, I beg to lay on table the copy of the report. I also beg to lay on table the minutes of the committee when going through this report.
Thank you. Please lay.
Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with our rule of procedures, that is 159, clause C, D, and 189, we, as a committee, we visited Pakwach, Kole, Oyam districts in Northern Uganda to assess water for agricultural production facilities. Right Honorable Speaker, all these projects were under the NDP 3 under water for production interventions. And it was a facility that was on demand. The key big schemes that we visited was Itek Okile Rice Scheme in Lira District, Tochi Rice Scheme in Oyam, and Wadelai in Pakwach. These were the mega projects. The committee had other small-scale irrigation projects that were also visited through the district leadership of the various districts and UGIFT. This was a project that were supposed to be co-funded by individual farmers to scale up water for production and enhance agriculture, commercialization, and on-time production. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to be very brief, and I know this report was uploaded, and I know my colleagues are well versed with agriculture. I would like to move straight to our observations and recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker, Wadelai Irrigation Scheme is located in Pakwach District in the sub-counties of
Rajem, and Wadelai with the River Ora as its water source. This irrigation scheme was constructed under Fairfolk 2, which is implemented by the Ministry of Water. The original contract sum was 54,784,397,918 shillings, but it was revised to 61 billion after a change of scope in the design of the project. Right Honorable Speaker, this project was funded by World Bank under Nordic Development Fund and Government of Uganda. The contractor was MS Coil and NAS General Contracting Company joint venture. The consultant was Beck Engineer, an association with HP Devoc. During the field visit, the committee was only able to interact with the district officials because attempts to reach on site were frustrated by the bad roads as a result of flooding in Kagolo. Right Honorable Speaker, according to the officials, physical progress of the work is at 90%. Completion of upstream and downstream embankment protection works, construction of spillway tail race protection works, repair of right side aid regulator, completion of bottom outlet environmental flow structure, completion of secondary canal 4 associated tertiary canal and control structures, and the completion of also secondary canal 5, access and scheme roads, scheme buildings and facilities, and farm clearing. There was a lot of findings that I will not intend to really go through all because I know members have observed this. But I would like to note that Wadalai project had a lot of encumbrances, a lot of issues, especially on land acquisition and compensation, where a community called Paten community, where majority of the area was for that community. They failed to agree with the ministry, especially on the compensation aspect, where titled land were being compensated at 3 million and untitled land was being compensated at 2 million. This brought a lot of back and forth conflicts that made this project not to move as it was expected. Right Honorable Speaker, there was observations that the committee came up with that there was no community ownership of the land. Another observation was the outstanding work on the scheme was partially stopped due to the flooding and conflicts. There was also failure to restore borrow pits by the contractor which posed a big threat to the life of the humans. Even the money that was needed for bush clearing even were not handled. Right Honorable Speaker, there was also poor coordination between the district and the Ministry of Water. That's why the community were in conflicts, because the district would have been a link between these two communities. The community were also not so much sensitized on the importance of this project. Recommendations: the Ministry of Water and Environment should ensure that the dispute is resolved within 3 months to pave way for completion. Right Honorable Speaker, the conflict in this project reached up to World Bank, and which through some NGO, that they formed a Gulu conflict resolution team, which failed, and it's now in court. There should also be an investigation instituted on the level of completion of this work. Right Honorable, this project, it's not yet working. Though they're saying it's at 93%, but it's not yet completed due to other areas that had conflicts, which was not resolved, yet government had put a lot of money, and it's a loan that has a time frame. Right Honorable Speaker, as I stated earlier, that there was a Gulu roundtable, mediation efforts were made, and this ended up in court, and we also recommend that ministry through court, because this matter is now in court, should expedite the process of resolving this conflict. MWE, that is Ministry of Water, and Chief Government Valuer and other stakeholders should also expedite the negotiation mechanism to settle and compensate PAPs, not in only Wadalai. This is very common in most of the projects that were mega. The community should be sensitized, and this should be from the inception of the project so that they own the project in order to avoid conflicts that arises in the middle of the project. Right Honorable Speaker, also on the same issue, the committee observed that the districts were not facilitated. Right Honorable Speaker and members, most of these hybrid projects that are being contracted by the ministry, handling it is very difficult at the district level because there is no provision for facilitation, for monitoring and supervision. That makes the district tend to leave the contract. They fail to own it. And this is one of the reasons that is failing majority of these hybrid projects, yet government had invested a lot of funds and majority are loans projects. The issues of ministry not facilitating district in monitoring these projects is causing a lot of failures. This is an emphasis in most of these projects. Iteko Kile Rice Scheme, Right Honorable Speaker. This is a project in Lira District located in Itek Sub-County. And this project was implemented by both MAIF and Ministry of Water, but mainly sponsored by Ministry of Water. It had 1,500 acres of land, but only 6,000 acres were irrigated. And it had 13 dams, but only 7 dams were constructed. The 6 dams that had remained were existing dams that needed just to be silted, but currently is non-functional. From the 7 constructed dams, only 3 dams are functional. And by the time of our visit to the facility, one of the 3 dams that was made was completely vandalized and the water was flowing and flooding people's gardens. The project roads were constructed, however, it required routine maintenance, and we have talked to the district to take it up other than waiting for the ministry to maintain for them these roads. Right Honorable Speaker, through this project, government supported by organizing the farmers into a cooperative groups where all the facilities like offices, storage facilities, they were even given tractors, milling machines, and they had a full office. According to the report from the community, they have embraced this project. There's no any land encumbrances because all the 1,500 acres were government land. So there were no compensation, and up to now, the community is acknowledging that the land. We have to also give credit where it's due, Right Honorable Speaker. The community were very grateful because in that area, there was reduced grass thatch houses as a positive impact of the project. They told us that their children are even going to university, they are paying school fees, and NARO has also engaged them in seed multiplication of the new variety of the rice that NARO has come up with. Right Honorable Speaker, the total production output of this rice scheme were 12,000 tons per season. And the community were requesting that government should extend the phase 2 project to handle the remaining part, the 700 acres of land, because all the 6,000 is fully utilized. Observation. One of the observations was that the fields were not fully leveled and farmers find it difficult to utilize the land due to the control of the areas to be irrigated. The main control gate of the damaged gate, they informed also the ministry. The ministry stated that they wanted 100 million to repair because it's a big valve that has been spoiled. Ministry of Water was also informed about it, and that's the information they gave. The district couldn't repair it because the funds were too much that they couldn't afford. Recommendation. The committee recommends that ministry should follow up the project design to the completion to facilitate full utilization of the scheme by farmers. Right, Honorable Speaker, most of these projects are technically handed over. And when they technically hand over, it means there were other defects or other areas that were not completed. Ministry of Water should also repair the damaged valve within 1 month, because when we reached there, the farmers' garden were already flooded because there was no control, and the dam size was also reducing. That will again cause the remaining dam to dry up because there's no control of water. The district local government, as I said earlier, were advised to also have a budget, at least put a budget under production unit to help in curbing up these emergencies. The Water User Committee were also, and I think this should be something that the ministry should take it as a serious matter, because if there was someone taking care of that control gate, the thieves would have not broken it. So there's need to sensitize the Water User Committee to protect the project from vandalism. Right Honorable Speaker, Tochi Irrigation Scheme. Tochi Irrigation Scheme is located in Oyam, and it covers 500 acres, and 571 farmers are the one utilizing it. This project was government-owned, but part of it was owned by community where compensation were done. We didn't hear any complaint from the farmers on lack of compensation. The project sum was 30 billion, but when these funds were used, the canals were narrow that failed to control the water, whereby government came up with a supplementary budget of 10 billion, and this matter was corrected. But Right Honorable Speaker, despite all this, the farms were not level. There are other blocks in the scheme that even the irrigation cannot reach because it's not level. But we were happy with the farmers. They used it for horticulture, areas that couldn't be that the irrigation couldn't reach. As I'm winding up, Right Honorable Speaker, the cooperative groups are very organized. They have also looked for fundings from other sources. They are having their own plans to be the best rice scheme in the country. And that is a very positive thing. It means they're honing the project. On the small-scale irrigation, Right Honorable Speaker, especially there's one in Kolel, Leye Valley Dam. This was a dam constructed to help in aquaculture. And government did everything and put all this project in a place that it started in 2006 and ended in 2008. The Ministry of Water and Environment implemented this, and it was by then in a patch before Kole. But right now, the observation under this, the Valley Dam is not functional. Yet, government had put everything in place. The dam is also silted, covered up by weeds, and meaning that if we assess the value for money, it's not really being utilized as per the investment of government. The recommendation, the Ministry of Water and Environment should rehabilitate this dam so that it's restored to its original purpose. On the general UGIF irrigation scheme, micro-scale irrigation scheme, we visited Lira district, we visited some farmers in Oyam and Kole, and also some in Pakwach. The general complaint is on the issue of co-funding and the same issue on hybrid. Most of these contracts are given by the ministry, and you'll get one contractor having a lot of contracts that sometimes they fail to install this equipment to the farmers in time. Right Honorable Speaker, the farmers are so much interested, and most of the local government are really taking back these funds, especially during the financial year, because the farmers in northern Uganda are poor, whereby a farmer is supposed to co-fund 25% of the project, and majority couldn't afford. Even those who have endeavored to afford, there's a lot of delay in the installation by the contractors, and the district has limited
let's allow Linda to, Honorable Linda, to finish.
I'm winding up, Right Honorable Speaker. Recommendations. The contribution of farmers to the irrigation system should be reduced at least to 10% from the 25%, because this money, these funds has to be utilized.
Thank you.
2, the cost of the system should be reduced to make it more affordable to the farmers, because you have to have a source of water before you get the project. So it's giving at least those who are well off, instead of helping these ones, the poor ones, that their finance needs to be improved. General recommendation, Right Honorable Speaker. As a committee, you know, agriculture.
Before you come to the general recommendations, one, there was a procedure, but at the same time, this is a report on Committee of Agriculture,
yes,
Animal Industry, and Fisheries.
Yes.
On the state of water production facilities in northern Uganda. I don't know how you set your own question on the state of water, but my perception is when you're talking about agriculture, agriculture is a backbone of this country. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
Agriculture is a backbone of this country, and it is something that should be handled holistically. The irrigation is just an auxiliary function that facilitates production. You must look at the primary and the secondary aspects of agriculture. You should be able to look at per region, Karamoja, Acholi, Lango, West Nile, in terms of mechanization. How many tractors do these people in Karamoja want? How many do they want in West Nile? How many do they want in Acholi? How can we improve agriculture in these regions? With all the vast land that we have, you should have looked at that. And then we also need to look at what kind of crops grow better in that area, the cash crops, in terms of tea, in terms of cotton, cashew nuts, and then you look at the pricing of what is produced in that area. When you look at the pricing of that area, you now look at the post-harvest handling. How do you do that? As a region in Karamoja, what do you advise government to do? how can we improve the post-harvest handling in that area, and then what value addition can we do for us to improve in terms of the agriculture. Like if we are producing a lot of cassava, Archbishop Odama will tell you, you must have a factory that is handling cassava, that gives you starch, that gives you ethanol, that gives you what do we need in Karamoja, in Acholi, in Lira, in West Nile, and all that. And we also talk about the livestock. People in Karamoja are cattle keepers. They are cattle keepers. What do you need? How much do you need to improve on if the cattle they have, or do they need additional cattle for them to be able to compete like any other area? And then you look at also poultry. Most of these women out there depend on poultry. You should be able to recommend that we need, a Minister of Agriculture needs to give poultry to these and these regions that can be able to help them give animals for dairy. We need milk coolants in this area. For instance, if you talk about Karamoja, they have the little milk that they get from the cows, but they may not be having milk coolants. There is no way they can store that milk. And then you talk about the agricultural cooperatives and enterprise selection. Those are things that I would imagine that you should be talking about, and the pricing of all this in terms of the milk, the tea. You'll find the tea. The people in West Nile are complaining of the prices of tea. They are complaining of prices of tobacco. People here are complaining on the price of cassava. So I think what we need, you still need to go back. And yes, there's a procedure matter. I thought I'm not finished. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Let me put my eyes on. Right Honorable Speaker, I am a member of Agricultural Committee. But when we went out in the field, the mandate which we were given was to research on water for production. And that is why the report is only on water for production. We did not go into detail of all what you are explaining to the committee. So are we going to proceed rightly if we start diverting to other issues? When the mandate was on water for production. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, PPPPP. Water for production for what? You must have something primary that water must be able to sustain. Yes, Honorable Call.
Right Honorable Speaker, we thank you for the guidance you are giving. When you're talking about water for production, can be crop production, can be animal production. And in the recent appropriation act that was returned to Parliament, one of the persons who was complaining a lot was the chairperson of Agriculture. And your guidance would help us a lot to see how best we can handle this sub-region. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a sub-region that is contributing to poverty in the country. And it is the only area that has a very rich land for production in the country in terms of crops, in terms of animals. So I think the best we can do is to make sure that the chairperson should go back and then come back with a comprehensive report. That will help us. If anything, this direction should take us to a position where we demand for some budget, supplementary budget, so that something needs to be done for this sub-region. Otherwise, we are not going to uplift this place from poverty. I thank you for your guidance, and Right Honorable Speaker, I implore you, procedurally, if we can go back and then come back to debate this. Thank you.
On the same, when I've already made a ruling, that I want a report that is comprehensive. I need a comprehensive report. I don't see why you need to bring procedure. No, there's no procedure that will add anything on the report. We want a comprehensive report that will help the northern region. I want to thank you so much. We want Honorable Bua, Honorable Minister of Northern Region, plus the Prime Minister and all the other relevant ministers. You need to sit down with the chairman of West Nile, Acholi, Karamoja, Lira, for us to come up with just a draft. You're going to work on all this, all of you, but you want something on our communication on the issues concerning Northern Region. And I would also request, after here, I want you to go and meet the Archbishop Odama. He has a lot of information on the Northern Region. But that does not mean that I've stopped the other meetings. Continue with the meetings. I know why I'm telling them to meet. I know why I'm telling them to meet. Tomorrow, since the president will be here at midday, can we start the house at 9? Can we? Honorable Prime Minister, do you have anything?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to thank you for the deliberations. I also want to thank you for the patience for sitting all this time since morning up to now. Right Honorable Speaker, I seek guidance from you, and I also want us to guide ourselves to make our sitting, especially in this region, productive. I take your guidance, especially guidance about the meeting we should have. But right, Honorable Speaker, if I would allow me only 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, to share with you an overview of what I think could be captured in those meetings, especially in our interaction with the leaders of this area, and also the times I've met the people of Northern Uganda. Maybe it could inform that meeting, if you would allow, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I take your guidance, and I really want to say that I have looked at these issues under these subdivisions to help guide us, Right Honorable Speaker. Like I had said, Right Honorable Speaker, in the beginning, my biggest discussion with the members in this region was about the poverty and low income levels in this region. And we have had so many discussions with the people in these areas. Right Honorable Speaker, it is easy to talk about roads, bridges, schools, health facilities, because government will budget this. But when it comes to income, it is personal efforts assisted and guided by government. I have been able to pick some ideas from the public, and this is what I think, Right Honorable Speaker. One, the issue of particularly household income. We have just talked about poverty levels here, Right Honorable Speaker. We have looked at areas in this country that have been able to pull up. We have found that this particular area here has been gambling for years, especially on what to invest in. Actually, Lango and West Nile does not have an agreed cash crop, an agreed high-value cash crop that people can grow to earn them income. They gamble from oil seeds, they go to other grains, they go to vegetables like we are hearing they're talking about, and other things. Right, Honourable Speaker, our discussion at the OPM has been with other relevant agencies in government, especially UCDA, agriculture, NERS, and others, to guide the people of northern Uganda on what kind of cash crop they can grow that can earn them income. And we are beginning to zero on those cash crops. And this is why I would require the ministers who are here, especially for agriculture, to say to the people of northern Uganda here that to get out of poverty, grow A, B, C, D, and Right Honourable Speaker, we now have extension workers in all the sub-counties, near all sub-counties in northern Uganda here. But they are not guiding the people. They are not telling anybody what to do. So people gamble. Just, Right Honourable Speaker, for the last few years, imagine northern Uganda was said to have been given 43 million seedlings of coffee. And when you ask those agencies, where are those coffee? They can't show you. And when you ask the citizens, they don't even know how to grow coffee. And yet they hear that there's money in coffee. These are things I want us to talk about, Right Honourable Speaker. Second, Right Honourable Speaker, we have talked about
So we need to customize.
Yes.
What is for northern Uganda should be for northern Uganda.
Yes.
If oranges do well in Teso, it shouldn't be imposed on the people of northern Uganda.
Right. So this time of guidance to the population should be empirical or scientific.
There is a procedural matter. Honourable members, before the procedural matter, in the VIP gallery we have Mr. Odongo Milton, the RDC of Pade, and Mr. Wadri Sam Nyakua, the mayor of Arua City. We also have Mr. Odongo David Kenneth, Aleb Tong District, Mr. Nangiro John, Nakapiripirit District, Mr. Obitre Stephen, Marach District, Mr. Abibu Bulia, Awadi Obongi District. We have Mr. Ringitho Hassan, Zombo District, Mr. Chaya Michael, Ivan Kitugo Municipal Council, Deputy Speaker, and Miss Anyako Vanessa, the Female Youth Councillor, Laro Peche Division. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
PP.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've been following the Minister's presentation on the issue of poverty, the issue of agricultural production, and what should be done in northern Uganda to ensure perhaps we have a common cash crop. Madam Speaker.
By the way, it is not a common cash crop.
And agreed.
What grows better in West Nile may not grow well in Acholi, may not grow well in Karamoja, in Lango, and that kind of thing.
Thank you for your guidance, Madam Speaker. I was just quoting him. He said, we need to have an agreed cash crop in which the people of northern Uganda are going to be able to engage in order to produce and then let them get away from poverty. Madam Speaker, the procedural issue I'm raising here is that we are actually in what they call a free market economy. And in a free market economy, the forces of supply and demand determines what is supposed to be produced, what is supposed to be marketed, and also the prices of those commodities. And in this circumstance, it would be a very big total disaster to, for example, restrict the production of a particular food crop or cash crop to a particular region. Why? Because
Honorable PP, if I understood the minister well, he's not restricting. You need to grow where you have the best opportunity possible. For instance, you cannot tell people in Bukedea to grow coffee because it doesn't do well. They should do what is good for them, what grows well, where they feel they can get market easily for them to be able to sell and earn an income.
Madam Speaker, that is exactly what I was driving at my point, Madam Speaker. Yeah, because
He's on procedure.
I'm on procedure issue. When you look at the marketability of even those items that we used to say it was not cash crop, it has now become a cash crop. So I am raising on a procedural issue to seek your guidance, whether the guidance of the minister is going to be helpful for the people of northern Uganda to agree on a specific cash crop to be produced in order to get them away from poverty. Is the minister proceeding well, Madam Speaker?
When I talked about the agricultural enterprise selection, that's what I actually meant. That this home can be able to do cotton, and they believe cotton is the best for them. But then the other home can be able to do potatoes, do tea, and do whatever. What if you're doing a selection on agricultural, or others can be able to look after cattle?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. But just to add on that, Right Honorable Speaker, as government, we shall not abdicate our duty for guiding the population of Uganda. This is exactly what I meant, that we must guide our people.
There was your colleague wanted to say something.
Information. There's information, I think, here. Okay, there's one information there, I think, Right Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my colleague for giving way. Right Honorable Speaker, His Excellency the President has on many occasions guided us. When he came up with the 7 enterprises, he did a lot of research. Chibalo. Now, if we look at northern Uganda,
not Chidachoka.
Not Chidachonka. If we look at northern Uganda, you traveled away, you see a lot of grass. Why wouldn't we encourage our people to go into dairy, for example? Why wouldn't we encourage our people to plant coffee?
Why wouldn't we plan to give these people tractors for them to be able to till that
mechanization
land?
of the agriculture,
Yes.
irrigation, and then we do value addition. We should stop gambling. The 7 enterprises, the president has done Chivalo, he has guided us. So it is a question of our people picking from the 7 what they can do. We cannot start reinventing the wheel. I thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you.
Further information?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Honorable members on the VIP gallery, we have Mr. Mito Robert, Honorable Mito Robert, LOC 5 Pakwach, Honorable Urombi Emmanuel, LOC 5 Nebi, Honorable James Oruna, LOC 5 Zombo. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I want to agree with Honorable Minister Jennifer Namuyango, but in addition to that, I want to give this information. Between 1999 and 2002, Uganda carried out what we call suitability and capability of our soils in Uganda in a project called Policies for Improved Land Management in Uganda. And Ministry of Agriculture has that information, Makerere University has that information, and I was part of that team. Now we know exactly what can grow in the upper part of West Nile. We know exactly what can grow in Teso. And when the minister says these places should identify priority enterprises, what we mean is we are not stopping those regions from growing all other crops, food and cash crops, but there should be a niche. these regions must have a priority crop which they are known for. For example,
and what brings an income to.
And that priority crop must be where we have comparative advantage. If you take my district of Zombo, we have coffee, Arabica coffee, and Uganda is the largest coffee producer in Africa after Ethiopia, the second largest. Now, we need to prioritize on those crops or enterprises where we have comparative advantage, and then we are known for that. We create a niche. It doesn't stop us from growing other crops. I have experience working in many communities around the world where they have one village, one product. In this case, we are talking about a regional priority niche where we can get a lot of income because we have comparative advantage. Thank you very much.
Honorable Songa, as leaders of the region, have you done a mindset change?
Yes, that is a continuous process, right, Honorable?
To the people
that is a continuous process.
Because if you know that yourself, have you educated your people that this is what we should do and this is what we can get when we do this?
Very good, right, Honorable. Actually, in my district of Zombo, we had been saying Arabica coffee from Zombo is highly needed in the world. And we needed government to give us seedlings for Arabica coffee and tea. But up to now, we have not got that seedling. We are teaching our people how to create these priorities.
Thank you. Let's hear from the minister. Maybe the minister has something.
Yes, Farid from Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, right, Honorable colleague.
Honorable Minister, just 1 minute. Only 1 minute.
Honorable members, I'm the chair.
Yes, Honorable.
Just
only 1 minute.
Can I hear from the minister? Then I will give it back to Gilbert.
Thank you.
Honorable colleague, I will give you information. Let me finish. I may screw up my points here. Right, Honorable Speaker. What I was saying here is exactly what we have been debating in this region, and you can see what is generating in a debate. Secondly, right, Honorable Speaker, we are thinking about livestock, and this has also been a very long debate. Right, Honorable Speaker, this land, this place where we are, has vast land. I think Acholi alone has around about 20,000 square kilometers of land, with a population of not more than, I don't think there are more than 2 million people in Acholi here. This is land that can be used for livestock production. And right, Honorable Speaker, this discussion is what we're already having with the government. And among the things we're talking about is the revamping of Achua Ranch. And from the loan that we have got already, the climate smart funds, actually in a few days now, there's going to be the beginning of the revamping, total revamping of Achua Ranch to provide breeding stock to the people of this area, either given freely under some program or at subsidized prices so that people here can also begin to farm in livestock. There is no question about this,
but
that livestock
revamping at Swar Ranch, we passed a loan, and that loan is supposed to revamp Aswa. However, one of you has gone to court. You cannot do anything in the ranch when there is a court matter.
Thank you, Right Honorable. And since also the courts of law gives justice to everybody, I hope that matter will be disposed. But the point is, Aswa Ranch, as we speak now, it has the potential of revamping the cattle economy in this entire region. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, what we have also gathered from these committees is that people here want the facilities for mechanization of agriculture. The vast lands here, Right Honorable Speaker, opening land with the primitive tools of the hand hose, and at best, the ox plows, Right Honorable Speaker, cannot meet now the economic demand of crop production that we are talking about. So these are the areas that we want to discuss with the population, and also so that government can invest in mechanization to provide tractors. All these regions I have met, including those who are living in the hills of Mount Elgon, want tractors to mechanize and produce massively. And these are things that I want us to begin, we want to be talking about. The other thing, Right Honorable Speaker, is facilities for value addition. Many of these areas, Right Honorable Speaker, are beginning to produce both dairy, beef, and also crop products that need value addition. We see maize, we see wheat in some places. There's also now milk production is also increasing in this region. but there are still very, very few facilities for validation. And this is what we want government to be doing. We want, as government, we are beginning to think about giving facilities to the population to add value to what they are doing. Right, Honourable Speaker, it is true there are still areas in northern Uganda here that have got poor access. These roads you hear being talked about, especially in West Nile, I'm sure everybody here who has been sitting in Parliament now knows that there's a road called Goli Road. Indeed, when you go to this place, the trucks and movement of money that takes place across these borders, Uganda and DRC, is huge. Indeed, we should listen to the people and plan to facilitate the upgrading of this road to make it motorable and good for the people. Right, Honourable Speaker, another big issue that I found in this area is the question of animal-human conflict in areas that are the front-line areas to the national parks. In Nuaya and the surrounding areas.
Honourable members, I want you to clap for the minister because this is what we expected at the beginning. Honourable Minister, this is what we wanted from you. Yes, now you're only bringing it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues. These conflicts are causing loss of both lives and property in terms of crops, among others. People who are growing crops around the parks every time suffer great losses. And I think us also, as government, we have also been very slow in compensating people who have lost property and life. We have just mentioned here that a child was killed in a few days. So, that was Speaker, this is a thing that we should take very seriously, and I'm happy the Minister of Tourism is here. I'm sure he will also give us an update on the plan of government in fencing these areas. Part of Kitgum, which are also rested from this for a long time, I've also not been experiencing, I started experiencing damages due to migrant elephant from Kidepo National Park. Right, Honourable Speaker, another big issue that I got in this area was the issue of governance and accountability in local governments. The question of monitoring of government activities has been very poor, and there are so many cases. In fact, there are rampant cases of corruption and poor service delivery in many of these local governments. And I want to call upon colleagues to be joining the effort in monitoring government services to the population. Right, Honourable Speaker, I have personally taken trouble to sit with the colleagues and identify the best method by which honourable colleagues can begin to monitor services in their areas. And we have done this time and again, and I want to continue urging colleagues to continue doing this because the losses incurred here are because of poor monitoring of services. Right, Honourable Speaker, we have in this region found out that the best way to improve our communication and also encourage accountability in the population is to encourage barazas. The barazas we have been conducting as the OPM were very huge and costly barazas, where a minister should come from the OPM or the Prime Minister herself and then organize the baraza, and these are so costly. We have now agreed to devise, and indeed my office has written to local government to direct all chief administrative officers to instruct all parish chiefs to begin barazas in their areas quarterly. In every parish there must be a baraza, and these barazas must be attended to all public servants, people who work for government, to account to the population, so that people are also able to share within those barazas the challenges they have in those communities, the challenges they have with service delivery, and the challenges they also have with access to what they need. Right, Honourable Speaker, we have got some areas where people have received money for PDM, but they are lost on what to do with the money. They don't know what to buy, either an animal or seeds, and also at what time. So we have also directed that in those barazas, all the extension workers in those sub-counties must attend. And in those, they must teach the people on what they can breed or what they can grow as crops. And that all those barazas must generate reports. And those reports must be escalated upwards to the counties, to to the sub-county, to the counties, and finally to the cows. And cows should be able to aggregate these reports and give government to see how best they can serve the population. I think this is what may help us see clearly the challenges of the people here. Right, Honourable Speaker, in this community again, we also have a lot of water bodies and the fishing industry in this region. There has been a mixed information about fishing and what type of fish to trade in, what size, and where. As a result of this, there has been a big conflict between the fishermen, fishmongers, and the fisheries protection unit. This cuts across on Lake Yoga, River Nile, and other water bodies where people fish freely. We have agreed, as you remember, in Cabinet, that we are going to have a meeting with the native fishermen in all these areas, so that we have a meeting with them and have a conversation with them to see how best all of us can become custodian of these water bodies and the fish, to ensure that fishing is safe, fishing is economical and beneficial to all of us. And this is what we are doing very, very soon. And since the Minister of Fisheries is here, she can give the detail. Right, Honourable Speaker, you could have heard that in addition to what we think can be done to improve the welfare of the people in northern Uganda, is the continuation in investment in some of these projects and programs to the people in northern Uganda. I have heard people say, we have invested a lot in northern Uganda. Why haven't they changed? I really wonder whether these people read history or they are alive to our history as northern Uganda. Right, Honourable Speaker, just for the information of honourable colleagues to appreciate this. For 62 years, till independence, northern Uganda was the most unfunded region in this country, right from the colonial time. Northern Uganda used to receive only 10% of the national budget. Much of the investment was in the central because many of the services were there. The schools were there. Affluence were there in the central. So many people would move away from here. There was a lot of labor migration to the central. So government invested a lot there. So people there learned, other than simply producing to consume, they learned long time ago how to use resources to build more wealth. But which has not been the case here until after independence. And also, our own circumstances here never made it better. After 1962, all the insurgencies and the insecurities of Uganda were experienced in northern Uganda here. This makes northern Uganda unique and different from other parts of the country. Many of these investments that are so lucrative, that highly of value, were not introduced here. For those who know, coffee in Buganda is also called chiboko. Chiboko is Swahili for fimbo, for a whip. Since they knew the value of coffee, coffee was introduced there with the chiboko. If you imagine even in the central there where people know money, coffee was forced onto the people with a whip. How about here in northern Uganda, here where people are not known about wealth? So it is important to realize that we have a long way to go, and that's why, Right Honourable Speaker, I appreciate you emphasize the matter of mindset change, which is very important. So we think, Right Honourable Speaker, that investments of government in terms of programs and projects should continue in northern Uganda here. I have just said that guns have gone silent here, but the poverty here is still very high. We are thinking, Right Honourable Speaker, that programs like NUSAF, we are thinking that a program like NUSAF 4, that will substitute the NUSAF 3, should still continue in northern Uganda here. And we have been in this debate over and over and over with the Minister of Finance, with the National Planning Authority, but I can now report, Right Honourable Speaker, that I think colleagues in Cabinet have appreciated. Colleagues in Finance have appreciated, And also,
can I give information?
I will give you information. Just 1 minute, Honorable. I will give you right on. I'll give you.
Honorable Gilbert, as one of the senior members of
I'll give you information so that you have enough time to inform.
Don't ask for information when the microphone is on.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform Northern Uganda that our discussion and conversation about NUSA 4 has progressed very well, and I'm very, very hopeful that within these few coming weeks, we will have approval from the National Planning Authority, and we will now engage the Ministry of Finance to proceed with the debates, the conversation, and the discussions about NUSA 4 so that this is approved to help the people of Northern Uganda.
Thank you.
And Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to inform you that this time, unlike the other previous NUSAFs, we are going to devote much of the monies into production, supporting production, the micro projects, supporting youth projects to ensure they have money to put in their skills to have money. And this is among other projects that we think, Right Honorable Speaker, we should be able to engage in. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, allow me say that, just for emphasis, all this infrastructure we're talking about, all this we have been debating since morning, bring about development. But development without improving households of people, without people's livelihoods improving, Right Honorable Speaker, I don't think it's sustainable development. That's why I really emphasize that we must look at ways by which we can help the people of Northern Uganda to put money in their pockets so that their livelihoods can change, so that they can have proper nutrition, they can have better housing, they can afford education for their children, they can afford proper health care, and live like any other parts of Uganda that have not experienced what they have experienced. Honorable, let me give you information.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to appreciate the Honorable Minister. It is true, in Northern Uganda, we had so many programs. We had the program called Development Initiative for Northern Uganda, DINO, PRELNO, Project for Restoration of Northern Uganda, NUSAF, PRDP, NUTS, Right Honorable Speaker, all these programs, people normally impose to the people of Northern Uganda what they're supposed to do. For example, NUTS. NUTS, they normally dictate to our people that, please, you have to grow oranges. You have to grow trees, lemons. There are other projects that our people cannot afford to keep them. Right Honorable Speaker, government injected billions of shillings on nuts. At the end, we normally see seedlings of mangoes being taken to sub-counties. And people are forced to collect those mangoes and plant. Yet it has no value to our people. Let the program come from the ground. Let people tell what they want to do, but not to impose program on the people of Northern Uganda. And finally, Right Honorable Speaker, government normally advise our people, for example, to grow soybeans. They tell them there is very high market for soybeans. And the moment soybeans perform well on Northern Uganda, the prices are dropped drastically. People are getting loss and losses. So please, Honorable Minister, let people tell government what they want to do. Government should have stopped imposing programs onto the people. The values of all this money are not seen on the people of Northern Uganda because they are being imposed onto our people. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gilbert. And that is the participatory approach, where you have the down-to-top approach on identification of people's needs. Yes,
Right,
Minister, are you finished?
Let me allow Honorable Dr. Abed Wanika to give information.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, I want to agree with you that the northern Uganda should get cash crops and projects that will help to alleviate poverty. But the capital for northern Uganda, it is the land and the people. And in agriculture, you begin with the market. Northern Uganda must sit down and select enterprises that have demand, products that have demand. Recently, people here were involved in cultivating cassava, and they had not ascertained the market for that cassava. And people spent into that project. I want to ask the leaders here that it is important we ascertain the market. Who wants that product? How much? What is the pricing? Because that's so that we can lead our people into projects that can alleviate poverty. And I want to close on this. In agriculture, there is no single project of agriculture that cannot be done in northern Uganda. It is not there. Coffee can be done here, and I'm surprised, why does the northern Uganda demand for coffee seedlings? We need coffee seedlings everywhere here. We need animals here. We need not only dairy, we also need the beef. You go in the countryside, there is full of grass, no single animal. Let we hear the members of parliament from northern Uganda putting a demand for animals for this area because it can be productive so that our people alleviate poverty. I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to take over my seat?
Not just one more, Right Honorable.
I am adjourning the House to tomorrow at 9.
Honorable colleagues, the chairpersons of the parliamentary committees, that is West Nile, Acholi, Lango, Karamoja, can we remain here and we meet right now? The chairpersons of those parliamentary committees, parliamentary groups, let us remain here. We meet and we come out with what we want to see that the president is addressed with tomorrow. Please.
They might not raise it because my chairperson is from the city. These issues of elephants are just...
How are you? Chairperson, West Nile Parliamentary Group, Acholi Parliamentary Group.